Here we go, we now have 2 layers of fiberglass resin. All the sharp points have now been taken down, so let's add some color. As in your cup. Applying the resin on top of the to get off. It's all painted up, let's peel off the tape. Process and add a second layer. Peel what we have cast. Follow the instructions on the can for the ratios of the in an airbrush. A shell and a baby shell. The 2 sides together, let's trim the excess fiberglass that was sticking up over the edge of the mold. I'm not going to try just in case it would crack, but foam and carve that into the shape of your choice. I chose shells from Mario Kart because that game's always been a favorite of giant Mario Kart shells, and you can use these same techniques to make what are woven together into a sheet. So first thing, it's out here, you can't tell how big it really is, but this size. Today we're going to be showing you how to take the molds we made in a previous video and use them to casting of a turtle shell. Look at that. That turned out great. Once your mold is coated in resin, begin applying the fiberglass cloth. Press it into place inside the mold. Of a Mario Kart shell. How fun would that be? Thanks for joining us in this same mold, and then I'll have what's basically a Nerf ball in the shape. Needs some padding. Instead of one big batch, because it's easier to control and less likely to catalyze. As the name suggests, this is I've painted a base coat of white over the holes of the shell separately and then glue them together. I wonder if you could just make your own hard hats that look like turtle shells. Oh, my airbrush is running away. Whole shell, and now I'm going to mask off the part that I want to stay white, which is the ridge around the middle, while I add the time, and in fact a paint and an airbrush to bring some colorful life to our project. And this thing is solid. You could probably not sharp air bubbles in a couple spots. We can patch those up. Resin to cast the 2 halves. Like, it's rigid, it is solid, it is firm. This is something that will last for a bit. Now we peel off the silicone. We have a fiberglass cast. As soon as that's cured, all we have to do is clean it up and paint it, and our shell will be complete. So it turns out the cups that I have been using, shells outside and do our casting there. We use spray paint, whatever kind of project you want to. To recap what we did today, we took our silicone. After carving our shells, we made a 2-part mold using silicone rubber, and it's not very good to breathe it in, so we're going to take what you want to do with it. Now the mold for these shells is not a single-use item. Out of our mold. With 2 layers, the fiberglass should be fairly little bit. Down any sharp edges that may have been left.
Great YouTubers out there that you could be watching instead of the King of Random.
The other colors to the top and bottom of the shell.
We can make. So truly, just wanted to say thanks.
Top half. We have the 2 halves of our
choose to watch us.
Even if you're it's crazy that this stuff is made of cone molds, and we now have a thin layer of fiberglass covering and hardened. I'll peel them out of the mold. There you have it. Those are the exact same techniques that I used to make Devin's Supertramp's batch. It's better to do several small batches because that shows, like, if it's for this project, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then. The sort of belt that went around the center ridge of the shell to glue it all together. There you go. There's the top. Fiberglass is almost more of a pressing motion than a brushing motion. It really helps drive the resin down in cloth that is actually. You may find that this job is easier with 2 people. Probably stand on this. I'm not. Let's cut our fiberglass cloth into small, manageable pieces. Hardener to the resin. Cast in both sides of our mold, the fiberglass has glass, but you can still cut it with scissors. It's important to note that while this stuff acts like cloth, the individual more manageable pieces. And use a strip of fiberglass all the way around to secure them together. Before we attach, and it's time to use fiberglass to make our shells permanent. We'll use fiberglass cloth and fiberglass resin smells really strong. Now glued together with a layer of fiberglass, and just remove the mold jack, up some resin. To cast fiberglass. So far we showed you how to take rigid insulation, ready to paint. Polystyrene, which means that as the resin catalyzes, it's actually going to start melting through them. Welcome back, guys. I'm Nate with the King of Rain, second layer. All right. We now have a first layer of fiberglass in both sides of our mold, so let's repeat the one person applying the cloth and another slowly short respective molds and put them together. We then used some more fiberglass as this application of the fiberglass is basically the same as what we did before. Fiberglass has three parts. First, there's a resin and a catalytic activator. This is what makes the third part is the fiberglass itself, and dab more resin on top of it. This liquid turned into hard plastic. Individual cut or broken strands of glass can be very irritating, so it's important to always wear gloves while.
So I just want to say how grateful I am that you.
It sits a little low on my head, honestly. If you're running low on resin, just mix up another small batch. A long time, and it looks great, no matter what. Fiberglass on each side of the shell. Once the fiberglass has cured, we could say that this is good, but I want to add a few more details along the inside of our mold. And plaster. At this point, the mold is ready. Buy the fiberglass. After that, it'll be a brand, but yeah, it's just black ink, really. It's like a mama. We still have the mold into the fibers and make everything stick to the silicone below. And for there to be gaps.
Hey guys, I know there are so many great videos and
It's made out of glass. Extremely thin strands of glass. Once that fiberglass was cured, we took the two pieces out of their mold. So let's let this fiberglass cure for a few minutes while we work on our other shell. Then we'll come back and add it. Now our fiberglass is all cut up and prepped. Let's mix. Now I've got two layers of person applying the resin. It's better to have the fiberglass overlap a little bit than it's basically permanent marker ink. Not only from the heat, but also because it just chemically dissolves them a little. Mine, and previously I've made giant Mario Kart shells for a video for Devin Supertramp. And we can use them again as many times as we want. They're very durable, they'll last a long time, and fiberglass cloth down inside of them while you're handling it. And the entire inside of this are made of poly. The fiberglass gluing the two sides together has now cured, so all that's left is to take a rotary tool and grind away from the mold. If you see the fiberglass now using it. There you have it, the two sides are lasting. We'll paint it and we'll have a complete shell. Disposable brush, let's spread an even layer of the resin with the catalyst mixed into it to glue it all down.
we're constantly doing everything in our power to bring you the best content together.
After using a rotary tool to clean up any sharp edges or excess fiberglass, wearing gloves, it's probably using colored ink. Our shell, what we're going to do is line them up. Future project that I want to try is using a two-part foam to cast another one of these shells. Cured, it's rigid now, so it's time to put a thin layer of the resin on, then attach the fiberglass cloth to that, and then use a thicker layer of resin. Glass pulling away, just press it back down in with your brush. Probably not a good idea to hold stuff while you're spray painting it. Try to minimize air pockets where the fiberglass pulls away. I like having it next to my head. You can see that the splatter has just gotten all over my arm. That's a pain. With more fiberglass. After cleaning up our cap, strong but still slightly flexible, which will help us demold. First step is to
Hi. Yay! Oh.